Welcome to the upper body strengthening flow portion of the class. So we're just going to kind of focus. I always like to do a little bit of core stuff just to kind of wake things up, but then the main focus is going to be kind of on this upper body. All right, so we're going to start on our backs. You're going to come down onto your back. Feet flat on the floor, knees are bent. Let's just take a couple of breaths here. Letting everything relax down into the floor, just kind of settling in. Again, one more big inhale. And then exhale, relaxing everything. We're just going to start with one of our knee pushes, which is one of my favorite kind of waking up your core exercises. So you're going to bring your knees in towards your chest, maybe a little closer than 90 degrees. Toes are pulling back towards you. Hands come to the fronts of your thighs. You're just going to gently start to press your hands into your legs. Don't let your legs move. So this is just an isometric. We're just holding, starting to wake up our arms and shoulder muscles a little bit. Keep holding, just gently pressing, stabilizing, breathing. Maybe as things start to wake up, you push just a little bit harder. Good. Breathing here. Let's just hold for a couple more breaths. Feeling that core really wake up. Beautiful. Relax for just a second. And then we're going to go into a dying bug. So you're going to take your legs into tabletop position, 90 degrees at your hip and your knee, and you're going to bring those arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing each other. So this is door frame arms. So I want you to think about pulling your shoulder blades down towards your waist. So we're already kind of engaging in those armpit muscles or serratus, scapular stabilizers. And then let your shoulders be heavy to the floor. Belly's engaged. We're looking for total stability here in this center. We're going to start to go in and out with opposite arm, opposite leg. So I'm going to go away with my right arm, left leg, come back in, alternate. Good. So I'm not letting my low back change shape. I'm not letting my ribs pop up. I'm keeping everything nice and controlled. Maybe gently shake your head back and forth if you feel like you're getting into your neck at all. And if you can only go a couple inches, only go a couple inches. Whatever feels like the stable point for you. If you can go really far out and stay stable in that low back, then that's where you go. Let's just do a couple more. Good, one more each side. Just waking up those shoulders a little bit, waking up our belly. Good, and then maybe just hug your knees in towards your chest. Lovely. And then we're going to make our way over onto all fours, which is where we're going to spend most of the rest of the time. So you're going to have knees under your hips, hands under your shoulders. So we're going to be in our all fours position. And I like to just go through a little bit of a cat-cow for a second here. So taking your spine in either direction, you're going to press up towards the ceiling, rounding everything. Let your head drop, right? Crown of your head drops down towards the floor, reversing it. Opening up through your chest. Good. Inhaling. Exhale. Rounding up again. So again, we're starting to kind of wake up these shoulder muscles. Just getting a little bit of motion in our spine. Good. Go ahead. Settle in neutral. We're going to go into our push-up plus. So this is our serratus muscles. Those muscles are scapular stabilizers. So here we're not doing any cat-cow, right? You're staying straight in your spine like a dowel. Your head is up in line with your spine. You've got those deep neck flexors engaged. Keep your elbows nice and straight. You let your shoulder blades sink together and then press apart. Lowering, and lifting, trying to keep your head right in line with your spine. So don't let that chin go jutting out, right? Nice and slow and controlled, both directions. So the way down is not necessarily about squeezing your shoulder blades. It's just about letting gravity take you. Good, couple more. Trying to stay relaxed in your upper traps. Good, and then you're going to hold at the top of that. If this is ever hard on your wrists, you can roll up your mat and be in a little bit of less extension in your wrist. That's kind of nice. So here we go. Press up in between your shoulder blades. So stay nice and engaged there, nice and lifted. Deep neck flexors engaged. Imagine you have a wall on the outside of either hip. You're not going to let your hips shift side to side. We're going to take that left leg straight out. Opposite arm goes out, holding here. Again, stay lifted in between your shoulder blades. Belly's pulled in. Left glute squeezing. Stay real supported in that left side of your pelvis. Doesn't sink down towards the floor. Again, back of your neck nice and long. Keep that chin pulled up a little bit. Holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Come down. Get nice and set in neutral again. Lift it in between your shoulder blades. Here we go. Right leg goes out. Don't let those hips shift side to side. Opposite arm goes out. Holding here. Just trying to be as still and stable as you can. Right side of your belly nice and engaged. Right glute squeezing. Lifting in between those shoulder blades. Good. Back of your neck nice and long. Keep that neck or chin kind of pulling up towards the ceiling. We're thinking about those deep neck flexors. Holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Sit back, come down. Sit back for just a second. Roll your wrists around. Shake them out for just a second. I'm going to do one more set of those. And then we're going to go into some little mini push-ups. So coming back into that all fours position. Again, pressed up in between your shoulder blades. Low back is in neutral. So ideally you stay in that neutral spine in your low back. Don't let those hips shift off to the side, right? So they stay really stable. Here we go. Take that left leg out. Opposite arm goes out. And we're just starting here, but for future or more advanced stuff, you can certainly you can add some in and out with your arm and leg. You can add some dynamic stability. There's lots of options here. You can hold longer. I always like to do a bit of a hold, like working up to maybe 20 seconds. Really work the endurance in these muscles. Holding. 3, 2, 1. Good. Come down. Again, nice and set and neutral, pressed up in between your shoulder blades. Don't let your hips shift off to the left. Take that right leg straight out. Opposite arm goes out. Belly's pulled in. Lift it in between your shoulder blades. Deep neck flexors engaged, holding. Breathing. Good. Couple more breaths. Being here, really working these stabilizers of your shoulder. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Come down. Again, sit back. Roll those wrists around, maybe your shoulders. So then a little more specifically for our arms, we're just going to do what I call a mini push-up. It's kind of a nice way to focus on the arm work. Rather than like when you do a full push-up, you're really engaging a lot more in your core. And so this is kind of nice to be able to focus on your arms. So get back into that all fours position. Lift it in between your shoulder blades. So here, I want you to imagine that you have a wall behind your butt, right? So at the back of your body, and you're not going to let your hips go backwards in space, right? So I'm already up against that wall, and I'm simply going to hinge at my hip. So the first ones we're doing, we're staying lifted in between your shoulder blades. Your elbows are going to stay glued in by your side. They go straight back towards your thighs, and then you press back up. So it's just a little dip. It's a little tricep dip. Try to stay lifted in between your shoulder blades. You lower down, hinging at your hip. Press back up. If you can only go a couple inches, only go a couple inches. If you can go way down here and get your head close to the ground, fantastic. Press back up. You keep your elbows glued in by your side. Head up in line with your spine. Let's just do 3 more. Again, here you can add little holds, you can add little pulses. You'll feel it in those triceps. 2 more. Head in line with your spine. Last one. Elbows glued in by your side and lift. Lovely. So now we're just going to turn those hands in a little bit towards each other. Not all the way, but just angle them in. So now when we lower down, our elbows are going to go out to the side. This is a little bit more of our pec, bicep. Same thing, lifted in between your shoulder blades. Here we go, dipping down. And lift. 2. Again, try to stay lifted in between your shoulder blades. Keep the back of your neck long, your deep neck flexors engaged. Good. So it's almost like you're trying to lift your sternum up towards the ceiling even as you lower your body down. 3 more. And lift. 2. So when you're doing like a real push-up, a full push-up, you're doing these motions. Come on back, sit back. But you're having to really engage all this other stuff, your core, and it's much more loaded. So this is kind of a nice way to work on your form, work on the actual strength in your arms without overloading the system where we start to compensate. All right, we're going to work into our plank. I like to do a down dog to plank just to kind of get different motion in your shoulders. Modify as you need to. Again, I like this little bit of padding underneath my wrists. So we're just going to start in a bit of a down dog. Letting yourself drop through those shoulders a little bit. You can walk it out. You can bend one knee, let the other straighten a little bit. Alternating, kind of getting some nice stretch. Breathing here. Again, we're already really working these shoulders just being in this position, right? So let yourself be guided by what is too much or what you can do. Here we go. Inhale, exhale, out you go. Work your way into your plank. When you get out here, those hands should be directly underneath your shoulders, lifted in between your shoulder blades, deep neck flexors engaged, belly pulling in. You're not sinking into this low back, right? You're staying nice and lifted. Holding here. We're going to do 3 good planks. We're going to rest in between. Take an inhale, exhale, find a rest position. So maybe a down dog, maybe child's pose, maybe you just lay down on your belly for a second. Whatever feels right for you in this moment. Here we go. Inhale, exhale, out you go. Find your second one. And you can vary these up. Sometimes I'll do 4 of them, and 2 I do on my forearms, and 2 I'm up on my hands. Up to you. You could add mountain climbers. You can make these as challenging or easy. You could be on your knees, right? So here we go. Find that last rest position. Breathing. Heels dropping, sits bones reaching up. Inhale, exhale, out you go. I'm going to lower down onto my forearms for this last one. Just kind of a different set of muscles. Breathing. You're still lifted in between your shoulder blades, that belly pulling in. Back of your neck nice and long. You're looking down towards the floor. Holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Come on back. Sit back off your arms. Maybe sit back in child's pose. So that's a good, just kind of brief starter workout for your upper body. Let's just do a little bit of a nice side stretch in child's pose. So you're going to sit back in child's pose, arms out in front of you. Let's walk both arms off to the right, dropping your left sit bone down and away. So we're just stretching this whole left side. Breathing. You can traction into that left arm a little bit into the floor, really stretching through that whole left side of your body. It's nice to stretch these things out after we've worked them. One more breath. And then walk your hands through the center off to the left, dropping that right sit bone down and away. Breathing. Couple more breaths, maybe tractioning that right arm into the floor. Just feeling that whole stretch through your side body. One more breath. Go back to the center, walk those arms out in front of you, flip your palms towards the ceiling and then bend those elbows. Place your arms, your hands on your back. So this can be a nice tricep stretch. And you can just kind of gently press your elbows down into the ground. Feel that stretch through your tricep. One more breath here. Straightening those arms back out. Big inhale, exhale. Go ahead, walk yourself, stacking your spine back up. Let's just roll those shoulders open for a second. Lovely. Good work. It's just a nice, quick upper body workout. Good strength. A lot of places. I'll see you in the next one.